thanks, Paul, for giving me something that we could really use as a creative tool to teach from. Okay, all right, so we're going to go back over this since we got the video going, and I'll make sure that you all get this clip here. Again, we talked about here, we loved the way he did the Death Star and the way it had curves into the scene. Love the way he's got everything flowing here. Vader, I mean, everything he's got, the storytelling, all perfect. We've got this, what I call a Z composition mixed with a crescent composition, which is a half moon. So basically you come here, you hit the scene, you go to Vader, boom, boom, and then you go boom to the rest of the characters, but then it softens. You see here it's very dynamic. And when he adds the red, because Vader needs red, when you add that red to Vader, it's going to make it more impact, so it's going to just be bam, it's going to hit you right in the face. Red will make you stop in your tracks. It's got such impact that, I mean, I've done images that have been red in competition. My Jesus crucifixion, you may have seen it on my Facebook page with the composite collage of Jesus on the cross. It was just solid red. And when it come across, it stopped. I mean, the whole room went silent. And it was my first 100 print. At that time, I remembered that as were the cowboy print that I did, I realized that I could reach the masses. You know, I just didn't have to reach one sector of the population with my fantasy stuff or whatever. I could reach the masses. Everybody loves it. Even if you're not a cowboy fan, you love the character of that man's face. The Jesus print. I realized at that point I could affect people emotionally with my images. And at that moment, I realized that, I don't want to sound crazy when I say this, but we have a great power when we use it responsible, because we can create pieces that are important. We're going to create pieces that are fantasy and all this stuff, and some people are going to love it, some people are not. But there are pieces we will create in our lifetime that will have such an impact on someone. We may never know it. You know, we're fortunate if we get to see it or somebody shares with it. In any case, red is powerful. And that red on Vader here will just make you go, wow. And then you're going to go down to Luke, bam. And I love how he's got the, his arm is extended. He's looking away. You did a very good shot. It was a good, I didn't get the shot. You directed him with your own camera. And then
that's yours.
Oh, is it mine?
I went back through the raw files.
I did that? Okay. Wow, I'm good. I'm just kidding. I can't even remember what I shot. So, but in any case, now my suggestion was, we got the zigzag, boom. So Z, we go boom, boom, boom. So there's your Z. And then we curve. And then we're going around. If we take these characters here, make her a little bigger, him a little bit smaller than her, kind of like it is now, but a little bit more drastic, and then keep her about the same size and have her turn her around, have her curve where you have get the full staff where it's going into the scene. We're also going to turn Vader around. Now, we talked about a while ago that the cape was part of the design element, and that's why he kept it. I could tell why he kept it, because it worked. And so turn him other way, you lose that. So you make a copy, erase Vader's helmet and all whatever, and you make another copy and turn him around and merge those two together. So you have Vader going this way, and you can even, if you cut it out, and you can have his, get part of his lightsaber going in. So look at what you have. You're going to have that red over there with that lightsaber going up. So you got a V formation here with the red saber and Luke's saber. I wish we had a little bit of color in his. Yes, Paige.
So he's already flipped it, and he put the saber in there, but then erased it out because it chops up through there. It's almost more distracting. How do you...
Well, I'll have to come back and look at it. But, I love all this, and if it's distracting, okay? So now here's the thing. When you talk about something, your brain is going, this would look good. Now, once you put it in there, I do it all the time. I got this vision. I put it in there, and I'm going... Just, look at the struggle I had at the beginning, with Vader, just trying to get him what to do. That Vader, he's using a different Vader. He's using more of the profile shot of the fighting shot. But it's very difficult to use that image because my original vision was the straight-on helmet. And I didn't even shoot a straight-on. And I do that. I've done that before, and that's why when you're shooting, shoot more than you need. Because, shoot it from every angle, because you never know what you're going to need. And if it goes over here and you got this V formation, and it's distracting, then fade it out. Just use the cape, to cover, to go here. You could also look at this. You've got his shape of his back, so you could turn it this way, and you could cut the cape off, and you could take another, like this part of this cape, and take it and clip it to him, making it look like it's the other side of the cape is wrapping around him. And so you could hide the saber, like you don't know where his arms are at. So if it's distracting, you put it away. So there's options. You're always doing, like you'll have this cape and it just kind of fades out. You keep the shape of what you got right now. Does that make sense to y'all? Do you understand what I'm saying? We'll turn him around. We're making a copy, leaving this cape like that, erasing his head. We're going to do another copy, flip him around. We're going to basically cut him out of the cape, turn him around. Now, if the lightsaber comes up here, it doesn't work. We just erase that and then make a copy of this cape down here and clip it put it over him and clip it around him so it looks like it's just wrapping around his other side. Now, there's going to be some artistic treatment that we have to do to make it work, and that'll come in the painting stages and the illustrative part. But that would work because it looks like the cape is blowing and he's standing there. You don't know where his saber's at, and the cape's just blowing around him, and that adds to the drama as well. So that's a good call, Paige. Because you're going, okay, yeah, that looks good, but it's distracting here. So it's a constant battle going back and forth with those composition pieces. But see, when you said that, what did my brain do? My brain did not get negative or go, okay, well, or I didn't disagree with you. I didn't get huffy or puffy and go, well, it's going to work with you like a nut, But I said, okay, if that's the case, then here's what we do. You always have a backup plan. How do you get that backup plan, folks? Paul, how do you get it? I'm talking this, Paul. Jane, how do you get a backup plan? Like when you're doing this and something doesn't work and you got to do something else. And how do you? You got to try something different. And sometimes you just try it, you don't know. But how do you know to do that? Play with it. But what do you gain when you play with it?
Experience.
Terrence, be quiet.
Trial and error.
Trial and error. And what do you get with trial and error? Different. What do you? Confidence. So you have that confidence to go, okay, I'm not scared to try stuff. Most of my students in the class over the years, scared to try stuff. I can't tell you how many people come in this class and they want to create a perfect piece. And people actually come in here, and I'm sorry if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you. But they come in here and they think you're going to spend, it basically is 4.5 days. 4.5 days learning from me, and you're going to be able to be me. That's what a lot of people think. No. You're looking at almost 35 years of experience of doing different things, painting bicycles, teaching art, painting oils, doing sign painting, selling insurance, all these things. All that experience basically makes me who I am. The technique that we're learning, that you're learning, that you are so eager to make sure you get done, is that technique will always be that technique. Your brain is going to be different next week. It's going to be different after that. It's going to be more mature and go on and on. So, anyways, let's get back to the basics of this. So it didn't work. If it didn't work, you would go with that route. And with the red, you got that Z, boom, boom, and you come here and you curve them a little bit. And you go with that crescent moon because you have the ship here. You got the Millennium Falcon here. She's going to be the new pilot of the Millennium Falcon. We're going to have her staff pointing that way, which gives a subliminal tie-in to that. And you're going to curve all this. We're going to need to make this fire more intense. I love what he did with the force, the light with the force. And what that does, he used a lens flare in Photoshop to do that. And he put it in screen mode, correct? Made it on the black layer and did screen mode. And So you
Great. He used a great, yes.
yeah, and so you could get that kind of lens flare effect, which is really cool in this type of poster. But what does this also do in the middle, folks? Huh? Draws me eye. It's like, okay, I'm going there, and you can't help. You cannot help but to go up. So you either start here, which this is your brightest spot, so you're going to go here. So it's kind of it's like a backwards Z. It goes boom, 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 boom. You know, and it's so what happens is this creates what we call a bounce. And what a bounce does, it makes the viewer go boom, boom, boom. And what are you trying to do? If you can get a viewer to view your image for more than 60 seconds, you have successfully created a composition and a story that interests the viewer. And if you have image and more stuff in a piece, that the longer they view it, the more they see, it is much more interesting. That's why when I, all my images, like in my whole 400 print case, there are other images hidden in there, and people try to find them, and you know they'll. In any case, if you hide stuff in there and it gets known to people, number one, you create excitement because they want to see what you've done and where it's at, if they're shaping the images and stuff. Are you going to sleep, Shannon, or are you taking notes? Okay. I'm calling you out. All right. So in any case. That's what I did in my images. And plus, I have people every year in competition, they're wanting to see what I'm going to do. Now this year, the last 2 years, I had a couple rough years. But even during those rough years, I lost my confidence in my ability. I didn't lose my ability to teach you. I mean, I knew I could teach. I knew I could do all that. I lost my ability to create. I thought I did anyways. And then I still created. I still went double diamond, you know. I mean, it was like, and I did advance my skill in my imagery. But in my brain, I was a failure. Because I'm not, and I still, to this point, I struggle right now. I am not my skill set and my execution is not to the level where my creative vision is. And do y'all have that? You struggle with it? It's in your head. Can you bring it to life? And I struggle with that because I have such great things. And so I decided not to enter district. I used to be in Southwest. Now I'm in Southeast. I decided not to enter. I just like, you know what? No, it's not that important to me anymore. I mean, yeah, it's great if you win a camera. It's great if you win the awards. Trust me, I got all my awards. We moved them from Texas. I got like almost a half a room just filled with crystal. And if I put it up, it looked like a trophy shop. It just, you know, you can't take that stuff with you. That stuff, you can't cuddle that stuff. It doesn't love you. It's just pieces of glass. Now, don't get me wrong. When you win it, it's going to be important for your confidence level. It's going to be important for to move. But it doesn't, you know, after a while, it's just a piece of glass. Where your real reward is the image, the journey that you go through. Now, even though I struggled those 2 years, I was being prepared for what is about to come. And what is about to come is going to be epic. And it's been hard for me not to post it on Facebook, not to share it, not to get feedback. And it's like you're going to go, ooh. It's surreal, and that's all I can say. But so I'm excited about that. But there will be that whole growth deal that you got to go through. That, you know, it's going to be hard, and you're going to struggle at times, and you just got to keep forward and keep going with it. But you got to be creative. You're only as good as your last print. You know, and there are a lot of photographers in this world. They you know, you go to their class. The reason I have so many repeaters is because my class is different every year. A lot of people teach the same thing over and over and over. You know, they write off their same images or blah, blah, blah. I'm constantly reinventing myself. That's one of the biggest compliments I get from my peers is I reinvent myself. And so you must do that as well. And you must grow through this. Back to this composite and the composition. The only other change I would make here is the ships that he has here are going outward. I would turn them inward, make the city sharp. He's got some cleanup to do. Now, I don't think Paul would let this go because it's not finished. We still got to paint. But there are people that have great pieces that we judge, and they miss stuff like this. Beautiful image. And he would have won. He was like he would have won that category. He was sitting at like a 99. And all of a sudden, I'm the one that pointed it out. I had to look, he's missing a whole part of the sky there. And he did. He missed the whole part of the sky. And it was like the image was so good that you didn't see that at first. But you can't, those mistakes, you can't tolerate. So, and you will not catch me on anything. You know my Sin City piece, the one with the girls, steampunk girls on the ledge, judging that at Texas. And I had one of the taxis flipped. And he went up there and said, well, that's flipped. He's got that going backwards. I'm like, and I'll say it. I'm sorry, honey. Oh, hail to the no. You're not going to catch me. He made an assumption that just because it was flipped, that my taxi was flipped. You're not going to catch me on something like that. You're not going to catch any flaw in my technique when it goes to competition. He made an assumption, and he learned a lesson. You cannot make assumptions. And Sandra Pierce is the one. But he made an assumption. Sandra Pierce stood up and says, no. She put her reading glasses on. It doesn't. And so, but he couldn't see it. He just made an assumption. And I've seen a lot of people do that in judging. And so anyways, he learned a lesson. So you got to watch out for that. And those things happen in print competition. Back at this one. Whose is this one? Oh, Paige. Well, why? Okay, Paige, you're going to need to take the class again.
I didn't work on that the very first one.
Okay, now, is this a second one? Or the one? Is there another one too in here?
The individual one.
Okay, because you changed this around, didn't you?
Yeah, because I needed to have lightsabers. I didn't have lightsabers in the other one.
Okay.
And we were going, so I did that, and I liked balance, and I didn't like the different angles of the lightsabers, and so I tried to put it to where they all kind of framed the characters in the middle, and then when I was talking with people, because I don't know the story, and they said, well, that's Rey, and she needs to have the new Luke. That's not Luke, that's whoever the new guy is, and it's the wrong bad guy, and
No, we're making it up. Just tell them they don't know what they're talking about. This is your Star Wars.
so I tried to use the parts that were most closely aligned with the real story, and so they said the Death Star and the cruisers were good, and the stormtroopers were good, and those characters.
Okay. Now, I want you to hear me, okay? Until you get a piece almost ready, finish, you need to pick one person that you know has a skill set and is a mentor kind of, in a way, to bounce stuff off of. There's nothing wrong with, but people will interject what they think. Now, here's what you got to be careful about when you show your work to people. They want to tell you what they would do. And most of the time, they couldn't paint their way out of a wet paper sack. Okay, so now there's not to say that I call them normals, because we're not. They may not know what they're looking at, but they can tell you when something's wrong. My wife may not know what I do, and because she does babies and newborns, but she can look at it and go, something doesn't look right. And so, and the reason I say that, you can get too many opinions, and you get confused. And what happens is when you get too many opinions, and especially from people that don't have the ability you have, once you get to a level and you get it down, if something's bothering you, you can show it to your husband or your boyfriend or whatever, or your kid, and they can tell you, yeah, something doesn't look right, But you will lose your contact with your own instinct. Your gut feeling. If you feel something wrong about a piece, go with your gut instinct. Larry, are we okay? Am I going too much? Yeah, you think so, don't you? Okay, well, just deal with it. All right. All right, so now on your composition, we've got good diagonals. I see what you did with the lightsabers. We're losing. You got too much of the body, and I know we got to do the artwork. We got to fade this out, but you're competing. We don't know who the star is here. They're too close together, but they're not the same size. He's the dominant character in the scene right now, which he should be the dominant character. And she is more dominant than him. Why? Because she's a brighter part of the scene. So in any case, he needs to be bigger. And I know you haven't done any artwork, so I'm not critiquing all that stuff. But composition-wise, he needs to be bigger. And sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice at least one of those sabers. All right? And that's why I put them fighting down at the bottom, so I could do that. Tonality-wise, Rey is way too bright. But I'm being gentle on that because of the fact that you haven't got to the final parts. The overlay of the ship and the Death Star is a little confusing up here. The blending of the soft light mode of the Death Star into the sky, you lose the Death Star. It's still there, and it would work in some other situations, but it's a little too dark. It's blocking up. And then, of course, the color tonality here, the color harmony down here, you haven't got a color overlay over him, and all this is way too bright. Huh? Oh, they're stormtroopers. Oh, you got stormtroopers. They look like they're behind. I see what you did. You kind of cascaded them down, but they're getting lost. They're like, his cape is transparent, and they're, so if you had this faded out and they were down in front, that might work a little bit better.
But I didn't want you to look at them. Right?
Well, I know, but I didn't see them in the beginning because I was too busy. I'm too lost up here.
Okay.
So the logo's too big too, but we're going to correct that once we get to the logo. So we got some work to do. So when you get back, I would make some adjustments really quick before you start painting. This your individual? Okay, I like the individual. I see what you did with the ship. You got all these TIE fighters coming in. It's like they're going to war, and Vader's saying, "I'm coming at you." We still got artwork to do on this. This ship here, it's competing too much with the lightsaber. I get lost. It's too bright, and so we don't need that big a ship. It can be further back. These can be further back. They're just, and there may be too many of them, and too many of the same size, because if they go that far back, they're going to get really tiny, 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 tiny. Okay, so you got to remember perspective and scale. Again, we got the cape situation. Are there stormtroopers in there? No.
No.
Okay, and also your the Death Star. Okay.
Yeah, that's the line.
All right. So yeah, and that line's confusing. So we need to fade him out, and then if you had the Death Star here, you got some. Luke, I am your father. Okay. All right, this is like a postcard that he sent to his son. That's what I say. All right. Paige, we got work to do. All right. But I like the composition. I love how the diagonal is of the lightsaber. Once they get all the glow into that and you put the color glow in here, it'll be good. The background needs to be a little bit more pop, more dynamic, and darker. And then fade this down at the bottom. Now, the energy that you're basically implying is coming from the Force, the dark side. One, it probably should be red, or I don't know. You could probably get away with orange, but the perspective's off. What's wrong with the perspective, Paul?
Where the energy coming down?
Yeah,
It's not coming at you.
it's not coming at me. It's
His hand's pointed to you, so it should be coming at you.
And I tried that. I worked it. I was trying to bring it up, but then I didn't like it because then it didn't feel three-dimensional. So then I left it down there.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to pull off.
Because I did try to move it, and I couldn't. And
so we'll try to once we get the painting stuff done and I do my glows at the end on that, we'll try to address that, okay? So that way you can see what that is. And don't worry, we still got trees that we're doing. Okay, so Larry, you can get upset about you're not getting upset, but you can disagree with me on our conceptual stuff. But I'm gonna give you trees, and you're gonna be happy. Okay, so All right, so, but good composition overall. We just got some issues that we need to take care of. All right, whose is this? Yours. Okay. All right. Good balance. We need some more separation, some more to bring these out. But I think Vader could stand to be a little bit bigger up here, so he's more dominant. Again, we got the same situation that Paul had. He's, the same size as him. His helmet's a little bit bigger, but they're the same size. So he needs to be a little bit bigger. TIE fighters need to be smaller. They're too crowded. You're using too much of all the real estate. But your composition, him goes down to Luke, goes over to Rey, goes down to the other Jedi, and boom, you go over here. Color harmony on this one, like I did on mine, where I bring more of the environmental colors into them, is going to be imperative. But overall, it's a good composition. The ships need to be smaller. They're just distracting. The element of them needs to be in there, but it's distracting. The fighting back here, take it out. Doesn't need to be there. You got too much going on here. The way that you compose it, you don't need it. You got as many lightsabers as you possibly could have. But even if you have to cut the lightsaber there off, make him bigger. All right, and your composition is going to be a lot stronger. All right, and you may need to might need to take all 4 of these, bring them down about 10%, move them in a little bit so you got some breathing room around the edge. Okay, so good. All right, and then there's Paul. All right, so that was the critique as far as that goes, and that's just a couple that I wanted to share with you.